Welcome to Nice and Blunt. I'm Adam Riancho, and it's Monday, week 6. Time to take a look ahead and make some win-loss picks for every game. But before we do that, we also remind you of my picks last week and tell you where I was right, where I was wrong. And I am upset with myself because I made 2 changes on Saturday, and both of them were wrong. I would have gone 9-4 if I just kept my mouth shut. But instead, I picked the Patriots to win and the Colts to win, and they both let me down. So I went 7-6, nothing to brag about, and these are the games I got wrong. I did take the Bucs, who did go into overtime, but if not for 2 missed kicks, one of them blocked by Younghoe, they probably would have lost that game in regulation. So that one was wrong. I also took the Patriots, as mentioned, and Jalen Polk was like 2 or 3 inches. His heel tap went out of bounds, and that cost them the win. It would have sealed it if he was just a couple inches in bounds. If he dragged his foot, it would have been correct. But nope, that did not happen. I also took the Colts, as mentioned, and I don't know why I pivoted like off history. It's the 10th straight year where the Jags win at home, and it was just the Joe Flacco decision to start him. Not happy about that one. But the Bills lost that game. At the end of it, they would at least had overtime if not for some terrible decisions from their coaching staff, terrible time management. But maybe they should have lost altogether if Josh Allen had actually been taken out with what was an apparent concussion, more than likely. So that was a bummer for Buffalo. They had that game and they coughed it up. The Niners also had the game and coughed it up. Maybe an injury to their kicker was the main reason, but I really just think it was that Jordan Mason fumble and Kyler Murray being able to capitalize. So terrible loss from San Francisco. They're back below 500. And then a terrible loss as well by the Seahawks. That one was the most shocking of the week, in my opinion. The Giants, without Malik Nabers and their starting running back Devin Singletary, were able to go across country and beat Seattle. Maybe they were looking ahead to their Thursday night game against the Niners. Maybe their defensive line was just too banged up, but damn, they were terrible. Even their offense looked like shit. So really impressive game from the Giants. All around good victory from New York. Maybe they're not as bad as we thought. But those are the games I got wrong. The 7 I got right were the Vikings, who looked great against the Jets. The Chicago Bears completely manhandled Carolina. The Ravens did get lucky. They probably should have lost that game, but once they got it back in overtime, Derrick Henry sealed it, and they did get the win. The Commanders were in cruise control all game long. The Broncos also won comfortably, and the Packers had some question marks in the first half. That pick 6 in the end zone from Jordan Love was not pretty, but they did find a way. They did win thanks to Tucker Kraft for the most part. And then the Cowboys did tough it out. They did win in comeback fashion at the end of the game. I was sweating that one. I did not want to go 6-7, but I was correct about Dallas. So that was the record this week. I also took Kansas City on Monday night, and as I'm recording, that game has yet to take place, so we'll see if I'm right about that. I'm hoping to go 8-6, not 7-7. I would really be pissed if I lose that one. But you guys had the same record as I did, 7-6 on the week. The only 2 games where we actually differed in opinion were the Jaguars. You guys took Jacksonville just barely by literally a percentage point. It's a matter of like 5 votes saving you guys from a terrible, terrible record. But you guys did get that one right. You did take the Jags. And then you also took Pittsburgh. I took Dallas. Everything else was the same. We agreed on every other pick by the end of the week. So I'm really, really pissed that I pivoted off of the Dolphins and the Jags. I would have loved to go 9-4, but alas, we're both tied at 7-6, and that brings the overall season record to within 1 game. The only game that is keeping you guys above me is the fact that you took Detroit last week. On Monday night, I took Seattle. But it is what it is. You guys are 43-34. I'm 42-35. And I am picking up steam, but this week it was even. It was not great for yours truly. So I shot myself in the foot. However, against the spread, I did have a winning week. I feel good about my picks against the spread. I did take the Bills to win, and that didn't happen, so that was the incorrect one, but the Vikings covered. The Commanders definitely covered. They won by well over 3 points. The Niners won straight up. That one was probably the safest pick, in my opinion, this week. And then we'll see what happens on Monday night. If the Saints lose by 5 or less, I will go 4-1. But for now, I'm 3-1. At least I won on the week. That brings my overall record this season to 9-14-1. We're getting better, but we're still not above 500. Nothing to brag about. On the season, I was terrible in the first 2 weeks. So that's it for the record. Now let's take a look at week 6 schedule and give you some picks for every game. On Thursday, we have a divisional game between the Seahawks and the Niners, and this game could really go in either direction. Neither team played well last week, but the Niners kind of shot themselves in the foot. The Seahawks just did not show up to play against the Giants, and I do think Arizona is a better team than New York, so I still think the Niners are better than Seattle, but I can't say definitively with like overwhelming confidence that is the case. I think this will be a very close game. I'm worried about Brock Purdy in this matchup because last year Mike McDonald really gave him problems when he was the defensive coordinator for the Ravens, but that was a different team, different personnel, and I don't think in his coaching debut against Kyle Shanahan it will work out. So I'm going to go with San Francisco in this matchup. It could really go either way, but I think they're more desperate coming off another loss. I don't think they lose their third in division. So give me the Niners. I do think they are the better team. And because they're more desperate, I'll take them on the road over Seattle, but it will be close. I don't feel ecstatic about this. I'm definitely not picking this game against the spread, but give me San Francisco over Seattle, even on the road. In London, though, in the morning on Sunday, we have the Bears against Jacksonville. And although the Chicago Bears are technically the home team here, we know the Jags have a pseudo home field in London. So they get the advantage for sure. They know how to approach this week of travel. And I think they'll be a lot less jet lagged, a lot more ready to play in this matchup. So because they have so much experience in London, I do think they win. They looked better last week against the Colts, and Chicago did lose to Indianapolis earlier in the year. So maybe that translates. Maybe that's some confidence for Jacksonville, but I really just think they're just so desperate to win. That is what's the main motivating factor. And Chicago's defense looked great, but I'm still not totally convinced in their offense. There are still a few hiccups to account for, and I'm not a believer that their run game will get going every single week. So if DeAndre Swift does struggle, I think that will really hinder their offense, and I think they'll struggle to score points. I am going to take Jacksonville over Chicago. I don't feel great about it, but because it's in London, I think the Jags really benefit, and the Bears defense does not get that home field advantage like they normally do in Chicago. That is a huge factor in their favor. So I'm going to take Jacksonville. I think they go 2-0 in the last 2 weeks. I do think they win in London. We'll see what happens in week 7 when they stay in London one more time. But in Green Bay, I think the Packers are the better team over Arizona. I do think they win. However, it will be close. I think the Cardinals are very legit on offense, but their defense still leaves a lot to be desired. And the Packers will probably get their wide receivers back. At least Romeo Doubs should return. And I think the chemistry for Jordan Love this week will look a lot better. He was missing some key pieces, and I think that's why their offense sucked for a while against the Rams. But this week they play at home. Their defense gets a big boost with the home field crowd, and Arizona having to travel is not a team I fully trust just yet. So while they did have a good win last week, I think they'll cough up too many points. I think Jordan Love finds a way. He'll win his second straight game, and he will not throw a pick six in this one. So give me the Packers. I think they are the better team. They have what it takes to make the Super Bowl this season. Give me Green Bay over Arizona. In Tennessee, though, divisional matchup between the Colts and the Titans, and with Joe Flacco under center, I don't think he loses 2 in a row. I trust their offense a lot more with Flacco. They're not going to make as many mistakes, and for some reason, playing in Jacksonville is just a boogeyman that they can never get over. So I think they will bounce back. I know the Titans are coming off a bye, fully rested, and maybe they pivot to Mason Rudolph at quarterback. But they've only beaten the Dolphins this year. I think the Colts are far better than Miami at the moment, and I do think they will win this game in division. Give me Shane Steichen, the better coach, better quarterback combo to win at Tennessee. I'm taking the Colts by at least 5 points. I think it'll be close to a touchdown type of margin. It could potentially be a blowout. In New England, though, the Patriots host Houston, and there's no chance I'm taking the Patriots. Their offense is just too inept to score more than 20 points, it feels like. And the Texans probably get healthier. Maybe Nico Collins misses this one, but maybe Joe Mixon comes back on the field. And I definitely trust CJ Stroud a lot more. They just beat Buffalo, and they will handle business at New England. I think they are the better team by a wide margin. They'll probably win by more than a touchdown in this one. So give me Houston for sure. I think Tank Dell has a massive game against the Patriots. In New Orleans, though, the Saints take on Tampa, and another divisional matchup that's very close, very contentious, and this is one of the most heated rivalries in all of sports, honestly. But the Saints have lost 3 of their last 4 games at home in this division matchup, and I think it's the 4th in 5 years. The Bucs have a long week to prepare. They played last Thursday. Meanwhile, the Saints have yet to play as of this recording. They have a short week Monday to Sunday, and the added rest is really going to play into the hand of the Bucs. So even if Mike Evans gets shut down, Chris Godwin has played excellent this year, and I think Bucky Irving will stop fumbling, and that run game will look better than last week. I'm going to take the Buccaneers over the Saints. I think they are the better team and the more likely to make the playoffs. Give me Tampa over New Orleans. I think Baker is the better quarterback over Derek Carr. But in Philadelphia, this is probably the most obvious pick of the week. I'm definitely taking the Eagles over Cleveland. The Browns look like absolute dog shit. Until they change the quarterback, I don't think the vibes in the building are going to be good enough for them to tackle adversity over and over. So I think they're going to look like dog shit once again. The Browns are arguably the worst team in the NFL, and the Eagles, coming off a bye, will get healthy on offense. They lost to Tampa without their top 2 receivers, and if at least one of them gets healthy, I do prefer Philly. I do think they are by far the better team. So give me the Eagles. I think they will win comfortably, especially at home. They will not lose to Deshaun Watson. Give me Philadelphia over Cleveland. In Baltimore, though, the Ravens in a tough one here against Washington. Jaden Daniels versus Lamar Jackson. Going to be an extremely entertaining game to watch. But I'm going to take Baltimore. They're just rolling right now. No one has an answer for Derrick Henry. And I still have a few question marks regarding the Commanders' defense. They've looked better the last 2 weeks, but I don't fully trust them. And I think against the Ravens, they will just have no answers for all of that firepower on offense. So just too many weapons, too many points to be scored by the Ravens. And although the Commanders will keep it close, I think they will go toe-to-toe for a while. I'm just going to take Baltimore. They're the better team, the team I'm trusting for sure. So give me the experience of the Ravens. While I do think the Commanders play well, I do think Baltimore wins. In Denver, though, the Broncos host the Chargers, and I honestly am not quite sure who wins this game. It's going to come down to health for LA. If you told me that both tackles are healthy and Justin Herbert does not have any pain in his ankle, I will definitely take the Chargers. It's going to come down to the tackles' health, though. If they can have a run game in this one, the Chargers will win. Without it, I think Denver is just too good in the secondary to overcome. They will limit Quentin Johnston, Ladd McConkey, and Josh Palmer just too much. So very low scoring game, a defensive battle here. They'll probably split the series, but I'm going to take the Chargers, I think, off a bye. They are well rested and have a good game plan. They will shut down a rookie quarterback enough to win. So probably like a 17-15 final score, but I'm going to take LA. I think the Chargers win in narrow fashion. The Raiders, though, host Pittsburgh, and there's no way in hell I am taking the Raiders. I don't even know what their quarterback situation is. They've benched Minshew twice already, and it could be Aiden O'Connell. No matter who it is, they're without Devontae Adams, and they just don't have enough firepower on offense. So the Steelers, off 2 straight losses, will get back on track. They will beat Las Vegas. They have to travel, but I don't care. I'm definitely taking Mike Tomlin's defense to shut down Gardner Minshew. In Dallas, though, the Lions come to town, and this will be a very close one for the Cowboys. They usually play well at home, but they're actually much better this year on the road, and I do worry about this matchup against Detroit. We all remember how last year ended. The Lions had a touchdown to an offensive lineman. He did not come in, announce himself as eligible, and it was negated. I think this game, they'll probably make an emphasis and do that again and clearly declare him as eligible in this one. So I'm going to go with Detroit. They're coming off a bye, and Dallas has not looked good at home this year. I think they're by far the better team as well. Give me Detroit comfortably over Dallas. In Carolina, though, the Panthers host the Falcons, and there is no way the Panthers win this game. The honeymoon for Andy Dalton has clearly expired. Meanwhile, Kirk Cousins is playing out of his mind. It's Kirktober, and he probably throws for another 350 plus yards in this one. The Panthers defense cannot stop anyone, especially on the ground. Bijan Robinson will dominate. He's going to have his best game of the season. Give me Atlanta in blowout fashion. They win by probably 2+ touchdowns in this one. The last game on Sunday, though, is the Giants hosting Cincinnati, and I honestly don't feel great about this pick. The Giants have looked very good. Daniel Jones is protecting the ball, and their offensive defensive lines have looked better. They probably get Malik Neighbors back in this one, who probably wants to show off against Jamar Chase. He's been compared to him so many times, and I do think he looks better than Jamar in this matchup. But the Bengals are so desperate. They're 1-4, and I really don't see Joe Burrow losing this game once again. So I'm going to take Cincinnati. They probably should have won against the Baltimore Ravens, but they did not. Their defense is just coughing up way too many points. So I'm going to take the Bengals here. I think they're just too desperate to lose, and they get back on track. Although the Giants have impressed me, I still think the Bengals are a better team. Give me Cincinnati on the road over the Giants. But last game of the week on Monday, we have the Jets hosting Buffalo, and I'm going to take the Jets. I actually liked what I saw from them in the second half last week. Although they had too many turnovers in the first half against Minnesota, their defense really stepped up. Not too many teams have limited the Vikings offense. And because the Bills are sliding right now, I do think the Jets can capitalize. They will split this series. I think they'll win one of these games. And last year they won at home without Aaron Rodgers, while it was on the back of a punt return in overtime. I think they can do it again. I think off of 2 straight L's, the Jets will get back on track. The Bills are just leaving a lot of things up to chance. They're taking things for granted, and I don't think they take the Jets as seriously as they should. So on the road in New York, I think the Bills lose. It'll be a very close one, but Josh Allen has too many turnovers, and it goes in favor of Aaron Rodgers. Give me the Jets on Monday night. The Chiefs, the Rams, the Dolphins, and the Vikings are on bye. So here are my picks for week 6. I'm going with the San Francisco 49ers on the road over Seattle. Give me the Jaguars in London over the Bears. I'll take the Packers at home over the Cardinals, the Colts on the road over the Titans, the Texans on the road over the Patriots, the Bucks on the road over the Saints, the Eagles at home over the Cleveland Browns, the Ravens at home over Washington, the Chargers on the road over Denver, the Steelers on the road over Las Vegas, the Lions on the road over Dallas, the Falcons on the road over Carolina, the Bengals on the road over the Giants, and the Jets at home over the Buffalo Bills. Those are my win-loss picks for week 6. But before I end this video, I always give you 5 picks against the spread as well. And here they are on the screen. I think the Ravens-Commanders game is going to be very close, and the offenses are going to tear it up in this one. So I do not think the Commanders lose by a touchdown or more. I think they keep it to more like a field goal, and I will take the Commanders plus the points, not to win straight up, but to cover the spread. I think the Commanders plus 6.5 is the better side of that bet. I also think the Cardinals are going to keep that game entertaining and very close as well. Their offense is pretty good this year, and the Packers sometimes make mistakes. So I'm going to take the Arizona Cardinals plus 5.5. I think they do cover the spread, but lose the game straight up. The Colts-Titans game is essentially a toss-up. The Colts are favored by only 1 point, and at worst, I think they push. I do think they win this game straight up, though, and I do think it's by more than a field goal. So I'm going to take the Colts as favorites here. I do not trust the Titans. Even though they're coming off a bye, I just really don't trust their offense. In general, the Colts will step up. After a loss to the Jags, I think Flacco will win. The Falcons, though, I think are the most confident pick of the week. They will win by at least a touchdown, if not 2, and they're only favored by 5.5 points. So I'm definitely taking the Falcons to cover the spread. I think they'll win by well over 6 points, and I think this line will be ticking up as the week goes on. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 7.5, 8.5 points in favor of Atlanta. So get it while you can. This number is ideal, and I will take the Falcons to win by at least 6 points. The Jets, though, I am picking to win straight up, and I would love this number if it was 3.5, but they're getting 3 points. They are the underdogs, and I do think they win over Buffalo straight up. So give me the Jets plus 3, not the safest pick, but I do think it works out. I'm going to take the Commanders plus 6.5, the Cardinals plus 5.5, the Colts -1, the Falcons -5.5, and the Jets plus 3. All of those teams will cover this week. That's going to be it for this video, though. If you enjoyed, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I will see you in week 7. That is it for me. My name's Adam Riancho. Thank you for watching. Nice and blunt.